right. Good
Right,
evening, gentlemen.
Evening, fellas. Evening.
Got a bit of a change up of the show today. I think last time we actually did a full-on rugby podcast was back in 2019 when the Springboks were still playing rugby. That was the last time we did a full-on rugby podcast, and we haven't
The good
touched.
old days.
Yeah, the good old days when you could play international. Well, the Springboks could play international rugby. That is the last time we had a Pundits rugby podcast, and it was with our good old friend Judge Rugby, or Sharky, and unfortunately he's had to pull out to today's show because he's not feeling too well. But I'm hearing rumors that Mr. Jared Wright has scared him off a little bit, so we'll just leave it as that. Right, so for everyone watching, we have our old friend Bakkies Hoorbur with us. All the heat will be on him today, I promise you. I can tell you now there's going to be a few interesting questions just for Bakkies.
Get ready for it.
We have our regular on the show now, Mr. Kooks. And he's sporting the Proteas today. I don't know why he would be putting himself through that pain, but anyway. And then the man, the myth. Many haven't seen a face to the guy they call Rugby Mad or Jared. It's Jared Wright on Twitter, 17. But for all the Rugby Mad content you see on Facebook and even on Twitter, you've now got a face to the account. So there we go, Jared. Welcome. We have had you on here, haven't we? Pretty sure.
No, I think this is the first time.
Is this the first time? Oh shit, we slacked a little bit. We need to pick up our game. So right, so ladies and gentlemen, we dedicating this whole show to the British and Irish Lions tour. And first of all, it's an absolute mess at this point. Well, for me, as someone who I don't even know where the games are being played anymore because I'm just hearing too many reports, what's happening, what's not happening. So we're going to throw the question straight at Jared. Jared, please tell us what the hell is going on with this tour.
Well, I think most of the tour is pretty much intact. The big changes will be from the recent reports is that the first test will be in Cape Town, and the two tests after that will be up here at F&B Stadium in Johannesburg. So that's the main changes. The rest of the midweek games and tests pretty much stay the same.
Okay, so they are definitely going to be playing those midweek game stills?
As far as I know, yes. I haven't seen any of that changing. So it's I think it's the SA Invitational and for the four franchises, except for the Lions. There's no Lions v Lions.
Oh, that's a pity. Then another thing, while we're on that, had Lions versus Lions.
Go back to Transvaal or something.
Should have brought the cats. I think they should have brought the cats back.
No,
One song.
They have a presidential 15 or something like that. So I think that might be the Cheetahs and Lions, basically.
They're too scared to call it the cats. They're scared Khafi the toy might come out of retirement and make himself available for that game. We've got
no, emerging box game as well. That's a SAA game. SAA. Yeah.
So another thing, Jared, just while we're on the topic, so we can get it out the way, is there a do you know if there's any bubble happening or what the hell? Obviously, with all these games, I presume that there's no real bubble, where we've seen cricket and we've seen football, some football competitions. I mean, the PSL did it a few months back. I know cricket's doing it. So are we doing that? Are the Lions doing that effect, or is it pretty much just like a normal tour, move from province to province and take it as it comes?
I think that's why they've moved the two tests so that they base themselves pretty much in Johannesburg and fly around from there. But I'm not too clued up on that, to be honest with you. Right.
So let's go to Mr. Kooks. Let's start off with the South Africans' perspective. What have you made of South African rugby so far with all the bits and pieces that we've had? And do you think we are completely underdone for anything like this that's coming to our shores in the next few months?
You know what? I'm actually feeling a lot more positive now about where we are in terms of preparation than, let's say, a couple of months ago, especially like with the injuries. The guys will come back from injury. I mean, like Pollard's back, Lewart's back. So like that makes such a big difference. You think, okay, at least we know our core is almost intact from the World Cup. It'll be great. Obviously, it's going to be great to see the guys like Dwayne and then back in the Rainbow Cup and playing well. But yeah, I thought we started off slow. I think obviously for the SA-based players, it's been frustrating because it's been so stop-start. I mean, the Rainbow Cup would have been being able to go on tour to Europe would have been the perfect preparation for them, getting to play against, you know, the Munsters and the Leinsters, and I thought that would have been really good preparation for us. But listen, I do think that I think we're in a better place than we were a couple of months ago, and I'm feeling really positive. I really think, especially with the injuries coming back, with the guys being like guys like Pollard and they're coming back, I think it makes me feel a lot better for. I mean, like Marcel Coetzee back and all of that. So it makes me feel a lot better for when the Lions come in a month's time.
Bakkies, if we're looking at some of the youngsters, or let's say if some of the old war horses that we took to the World Cup and won it for us, when I say old war horses, I'm actually just talking about like a Pollard or whatever who's been around forever. Do you think do you think having a guy like that come back so soon is, you know, wonderful for us, or do you think like there's been other fly-offs or players around that could lose out like a position or so because of one of these guys coming back? And would you throw them straight back into the mix, into the squad, seeing the lack of game time they've had?
No, I'll throw him straight back in the mix. He looked quite decent at 10 minutes he came on. And let's be honest, the return to protocol in France is way better than here. They won't risk him, seeing that they're paying so much for him. So if he's back on the field, he's ready to go. So I don't see. I'll put him straight in the squad.
Jared,
Wouldn't be too much worried about it.
Yeah. Before we get to that question, because these guys are going to have their Springbok sort of 23, so we are going to touch on those things and possible new players and who won't be part of the squad. Jared, from I know you keep a clean eye on what's happening out in England, especially in Ireland and all those Northern Hemisphere sides. Is there quite a big, would you say that this pandemic has sort of shadowed the Lions tour a little bit? Like maybe there's not as much excitement around it by now, or do you feel that, this is going to be a humdinger just like we've seen from the past years when we've had the Lions come to South Africa?
I always think there's going to be the same amount of excitement for a Lions tour. I think it's a little bit subdued compared to what it normally would be. And I think that's just around people not knowing exactly what's going on. There's still no clarity if people in the UK will be able to come here or not, but everyone's going to be tuning in to watch it. Nobody's going to miss one of the test matches. I mean, the midweek games, you might have one or two guys missing out and not watching it, but they'll definitely watch the highlights or a full replay or something. So, yeah, it only happens every 4 years, and for many people, the Lions tour is bigger than the Rugby World Cup. I mean, Scotland don't realistically think that they will win the Rugby World Cup every year. But if they have two Lions on the Lions tour and they can beat South Africa in the Lions series, that's a hell of an achievement, and they'll be tuning in to see those 2 or 3 Scottish players do that. And it goes for the other 4 home nations as well.
Right, so let's jump straight into it. Jade's asked the interesting question about, out of let's say the match day 23, how many changes can we realistically see in the box 23? And obviously there will be a massive squad, I presume, being picked for this, because obviously being the home based, I'm pretty sure that we'll have quite a number of players in a camp in a way, but obviously only taking 23 or not 23, 30 something for a test itself. If we go back to a 23, say, we know Beast is gone, we know Flo's gone. Do we see anyone else realistically not making the 23 this time around? And let's just say from a World Cup point of view, from the last time we saw the box play. And let's start with Bakkies first.
Yeah, it's basically just those two. I don't know injury concerns. Is very injured at the moment. Was he playing rugby? He'll still be playing. Francois Stein's fitness might be a question. Otherwise, he'll be playing. Yeah, it's just those two I can only see getting replaced. And some other
Kooks?
injury concerns. For I don't know if Lewitt's going to be back. I think Argio's back.
Yeah, and I think obviously we missed Trevor. We got injured in the final, so you most likely
He'll be
I
back
mean,
yeah, as well.
he'll be back in a way, yeah. So I don't think we can say he was sort of out. Well, he's not gone. He was just injured for that World Cup final in the way. Kooks, your side? Any big shocks, do you think?
I can't see much besides injuries. I think injuries is the big question. You see, like, who is, like, for example, will Trevor be ready in time? Will Ergia be back in time? Because then obviously, I don't think Ergia has played yet. I know he's training. I don't think he's been back in the squad yet. But so that's for me the only question is who's going to be out the 23. Yeah, but it's for me. I don't think we'd have kept Francis Steyn in playing. Francis Steyn would have come to play in South Africa if he wasn't going to be involved with the Lions. I mean, obviously he's back at the Cheetahs. I think it's more. I think he's coming back to obviously play for the Lions and then finish up and retire. So I think it's a last hurrah for those guys like Franz Steyn. But for me, I think just obviously Flo and Beast out. I think obviously like someone like Marcel Coetzee fills in Flo's spot, and someone like Oxenchair could come in Beast spot. And otherwise, I can't see any other changes.
Jared, same to you. Same question.
Yeah, the only changes I could really see happening outside of the guys that have retired is like Trevor coming back from injury, like you mentioned earlier. We also have Jesse Creel playing again in Japan, and from what I've seen, he's playing good rugby in Japan. So who knows? We could be changing up our bench. We could be changing up the bombs and getting Jesse back in, and France covering fullback, centre, and fly half as well. So I think that's maybe one of the changes we could be having. But I think it's the guys that played in the Rugby World Cup final, those, 21 players that are still playing. It's sort of their position to lose. And and I think if we have one or two test matches to warm up, which we should have, but yeah, I think that's where the guys will sort of play themselves back into the Springbok squad, because I don't think it's you cemented in there, so they'll have to prove that they deserve to stay there. Otherwise, somebody will come in, and possibly from that World Cup squad will fill into that 23.
Guys, another question all the way through, and I'm quite interested to hear what you guys have to say about this. We've obviously announced a new coach straight after the World Cup final, and he's no stranger to the squad. It's not completely foreign and new, but we haven't seen the man in a head coaching role, for the box yet, and that role does change slightly, even though he is been such an important part of the Springboks, and especially winning that Rugby World Cup. Do you think we see something completely new from Jock and his team? Do we, pretty much copy paste from World Cup in the next series, or are we hoping to see a lot of fundamentals from the World Cup? With a bit of extra spice, let's say, to that, to go with it. Let's start with Jared. You can go first.
Yeah, I think it will be some build-ons from what we had at the World Cup. So, especially in the first the first two tests, I don't think we'll play very expansive rugby. I think Buff will be hanging those kicks up all day long, and I don't think we have to be too worried about Jacques. Like he was our defense coach, and as a defense coach, you cover quite a lot of bases. Like you're covering what their attack is doing, and you're covering your defense. So you're sort of looking at the game as a whole. So I think he's got a damn good understanding of rugby. So I don't think we should be too worried about him. He might throw one or two surprises at us, and who knows what that is. Maybe he doesn't see Lukanya as his outside centre, and he wants to go for more physical Jesse Creel, which isn't completely out of the South African DNA kind of thing. But I think we'll be fine with him, and I think one or two surprises, but not too much difference.
Kooks?
I'm actually really excited to see Jacques Nieba take over, because I think for the first time, since ever, where the Boks have actually made progression in terms of like with their coaches. I mean, we normally have a 4-year coach, 4-year plan. He gets fired, new coach comes in, start from scratch. He coaches for 4 years, goes to the World Cup, gets fired, then start again. So it's nice to see it actually a progression from Rassie to Jacques, and to see where we actually, to see where we actually go. And I mean, we got a youngish, not too oldish side. So, and I think Jacques, with obviously Rassie still involved, I think I'm not too worried. I do think that you'll have a few surprises up his sleeve. I do think you'll tweak a few things. I think everyone is expecting, especially the Lions. I think obviously the blueprint will be the same. I think the blueprint will be there, but they'll tweak. I think you'll tweak a few things, obviously, because you've got obviously new management in there with Dion Davids and things like that. So I think you'll tweak a few things, I think, to catch the Lions off guard. Because I think a lot of people, especially the Lions, I think they think the Boks will just come out and, oh well, same old recipe in 2019, we'll do the exact same thing. So I think the luxury for us, for the Boks, haven't played in such a long time, is we've been able to watch and obviously see where rugby's going and be able to jump on new trends. And so I'm really excited to see Jacques and see what he does with the Boks.
Bucks.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, this is his first head coach job ever. He hasn't even coached a provincial team or anything, but I'm excited to see him. He's not going to stray far away from the Rassie game plan. It's going to be lekker. Rassie's going to be there over his shoulder telling him if he's fucking up or anything.
So
quite happy with that.
Yeah.
I think what I'm quite excited about with Jacques is, we've seen him when he's worked at franchises and like with the Stormers and that, like there's always something new that he's brought to the party. Whenever he's sort of been involved in a squad, like there's just something, like a little element that he brings that's just new and innovative. If it was like the Stormers, it's that like rush defense that the Stormers used, like when it first came about. And, there were just these little tweaks. It wasn't major, like Kook said, but like there were just these little tweaks, and that was enough to get a person excited almost for the play. And I'm actually very excited to see what he brings on that aspect to the Boks. We know him, he is a defensive coach, but I'm quite interested to see if he doesn't spring a surprise or two, maybe on the attacking side of things for us. And maybe that's where that little edge comes in. So from my point of view, I'm actually pretty excited to see what he does. And I think for him, he must have had such a shitty year, because like you almost like you got that nerve hang. When you become a head coach, you just want that first game to get out the way.
Yeah,
you want
definitely.
You want that first build up towards the test match, and you want that first test match out the way ASAP, and hopefully it's a win.
Yeah,
he hasn't had that yet. He's had a whole year as a Springbok coach, and he's still waiting for that opportunity. So
you can imagine now Jacques having a year, not having to prep for any other international games, how he's polished that World Cup game plan.
Yes.
Now. So I hope the Engelse is reg vir ons.
He's probably analyzed that World Cup final about 1,000 times now. He's gone back to watch the game. He'll probably reanalyze it, probably saying, "Geez, we're fucking. I don't know how we got away with that shit," and then like go back and watch it again. And
It's like that overthinking girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever your perspective is.
Yeah, he's definitely come up with a game plan last year and like changed it again. Like, no, this one worked. This like it didn't work in 2020. New one for 2021. He's got like 2 game plans. It's like waiting. It's like, okay, cool. Which one? Which one? His poor wife must be like, please go coach. Like, please can the international season start? The song's probably bothering me at home. You're making me watch another rugby game. Just like, Jacques, please leave the house. Like,
can we please have? Can the camps around the country please start so you can just leave home for a few days?
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of hearing about another Rush defense. Please, like, Jacques, get out the house, please.
Let's just get on to the
thing that we could be surprised with Jacques is I just thought about it now, but that Andy Farrell, the head coach of Ireland, he's a very defensive coach, and when he took over from Ireland have all of a sudden got to this very
100%.
expansive play. In the way they play, and you look at Ronan O'Gara. He was the defense coach at the Crusaders. Now with La Rochelle have that KDA, keep the ball alive.
Yeah.
So that we could also get the same under Jacques. We don't know. That's also what makes it exciting.
Yeah.
Just touch on this box squad before I want you guys to throw your 23s out. We obviously got a new fitness. Well, I don't know what his exact role is, but he was pretty much what. What's his name? Hit a blank now. The Welshman.
Was it Aled Walters?
Yes,
yeah, Walters. So yeah, we got the lad from we got the ex Saracens guy in, and he's obviously taken over that role. I'm pretty sure, being part of Saracens and obviously being part of a lot of the English players, I'm sure there's a lot of info being fed to Jacques and that as well. So I think that could also give an extra little bit of information. And then obviously we can't forget about Felix, even though he's stationed here in Europe, but he's in connection with obviously all. It's his job to keep the Springboks on their toes here and make sure they're doing what they need to do. Pretty sure that what he brought to the Springbok side when Rassie brought him in, you could see there was a little bit of X around there. And you probably find he's been working on those trends, like you were saying, Kooks, like just a new little bit of trends, maybe what's happening around here in Europe. Pretty sure that information will be fed, back into the box system as well when they do get all together.
Yeah, definitely. I just think
who's being robbed. Who's being robbed at the moment?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's mine. This side. No, it's Joburg, man. Come on.
Sounds like are you in that crash? Are you in that cash and transit ban?
Yeah, he might be involved again. We don't know.
Lads, let's shoot ahead and let's get to those box 23s. Who wants to go first? Bakkies, jy like of jy? You just want to get it out of your system.
Are we gonna go position by position?
Box 23 because it's gonna be the World Cup starting 23 minus those 2 Owens.
Okay, but we want to hear your 2. We want to hear, and I know for a fact you have not gone with the same box 23 because you always throw some bloody spanner in the works.
No, the bokke, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's fine.
Okay.
But, obviously, Kitty will come starting for number 1 for Beast. And then it's going to be It's going to be Ox. It has to be Ox. That's going to be on the bench. That's going to be his deputy. I don't see any other loose head props sticking up their hands at the moment. Hey, your fear is bezig om te val hierso. Sorry, I got a skrik. And then it's going to be Bongi starting again with France. And Franco and Eben will start with Lut still being coming back from injury. Is Franco still in the international scene or did he retire? Why do I think
he's off in Japan? He's off
in Japan, yeah.
Okay, so he's still up for selection. So I'll start Mosi and Eben with Archie on the bench, and then Sia, Peter Steph, Dwayne. He's gonna make it for the Lions, and then we're gonna have Faf Pollard, Damien, Colby, Mampimpi. I don't know how he's playing at the moment, how his form is, but Mampimpi and Billy.
He's doing well in Japan. He's playing very well.
I know he played like minimal minutes and scored like 1 billion tries already.
No, he's
So, like,
playing. He's playing good rugby in Japan at the moment.
Yeah, the Ferrari doesn't come close to him, man. On the same bench, and it will probably be Marco van Staden taking Flo's bench spot.
okay, so that's where you're going and Mark van Staden in there.
And then I'll still start Vincent in front of Trevor. But we'll see who's on form. I don't know. There's no second division Saracen games in South Africa, so I can't watch that.
Yeah. Kooks, let's go shoot onto your side.
No,
No, wait, hang on. Are we doing a 5-2 split bench, Bakkies? Okay.
Yeah.
So who's your
obviously.
2 utilities? Who's your utilities there?
It's gonna be France, and who's gonna be the scrummy for us?
Herschel.
who is this?
Herschel.
Yeah, Herschel. Yeah, sorry, how did I
Okay.
forget him?
Kooks.
I mean, I think mine is pretty much similar to Bakkies. Kitsi, Bongi, and France up front. I think Luert will be back, so I'll go Eben and Luert. Sia 6, Peter Steph 7, Dwayne at 8. Backline, the same. Faf, Pollard, Mapimpi, Damien, and Colby and Willie. I'll have, so Mark's on the bench. I'll go with Trevor covering I think because Trevor covers both, so I'll have Trevor covering the loose end, and then I'll have Vincent at Kochet covering tight head. I'm going with a 4-3 split, so I'll have Archie on the bench, and then have Marcel Coetzee. I think Marcel Coetzee gives us that flow role in terms of cover 8 as well. I think he comes through. I think he's a perfect foil for flow. And I just think it's a cheat code having Marcel Coetzee on your bench. I think that's just unfair. Like, I think him coming off the bench is actually like, so that's going to be...
That's your game changer right there.
Yeah, that's my game changer right there. I think, and then Herschel, for me, I'd have Cohen Bosch covering 10, Jesse Creel as 23.
Right.
Jared?
Yeah, so I'm also pretty much going with the same. So also Kitsov, Bongi, and France in the front row. If Lewis isn't right, then I would also just put in Mostert and Evan, and then back row Sia, Peter Steph, and Dwayne. Backline pretty much the same as everyone else. The big changes will come on the bench. For me, my loose head out is Goboka. And I would have Vincent Koch there at tight head, but I've been watching that Luan de Bruin play for Leicester Tigers, and when he was here as well, he's been playing on the loose head for Leicester, but he's actually a tight head. I think he's got a chance to force his way in. I think that 18 jersey is like sort of up in the air with Koch playing at Saracens. A lot of the Saracens guys have come back in horrible.
They haven't looked good. They haven't looked good.
Terrible.
Yeah. So if Lewis is not fit, Achia on the bench, and to bring another lock in, they've spoken about Niku Jans van Rensburg from Montpellier coming in. I'm quite happy to give him a shot. But I don't see why we can't throw another back row in and slip Peter Steph to lock later on and put in someone like Jasper Vester.
Yeah.
Excuse?
Isn't he playing flank at Montpellier, Nicholas?
Yeah. He plays lock and he plays flank. It's like Peter Steph.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to throw a little name out there, which I think can we see someone like Arena Ulstad force his way maybe onto the bench for this Lions tour? Another man that can cover, obviously maybe all 3 options in the back, and if you're really desperate, you can throw him in a lock, in one of the lock positions as well, if you really need to. Is that another name that we could possibly see? Maybe one of the surprise names that we're not normally thinking about. I mean, I've been following his stats and stuff like that, especially at Toulouse and that, and he seems to be on a pretty hot streak at this point in time. So, is that someone that we could possibly see maybe as a surprise?
Yeah, I think so. I think with the Lions, I think
Reinhard arm wrestling for the spot.
Yeah, I do think we will try and obviously have that what you call it, that
enforcer
squad. Enforcer. So almost like the bigger the better. But the thing is, like, again, like in South Africa, we've got loose forwards. Loose forwards, and I mean, like that Jasper Visa. I mean, he's playing really good rugby. I mean, obviously, I heard his name being thrown around. I watched him on the weekend, and the hype is real. So it's like, I mean, like when you look at someone like Dan Dupree, Jean-Luc Dupree as well, especially Dan Dupree, has been looking good for Cell Sharks. So I mean, like you look at this, there's plenty of options. I think it's. Yeah, so I think like it's like,
hey James,
like
we don't need this negativity. We don't need this negativity to this chat, please.
But I do think what you call it? I do think Lucy's is the one position in South Africa where it's like if Peter Steff wasn't playing, like you're not too worried because there's like there's like a conveyor belt, just like ready of guys, just like ready to come in. Like who's got next? So like I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Ulster involved. Like even Jared said, I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Jasper Visa coming off the bench, coming off the bench, and just I mean, the options are plenty in that position.
That bomb squad worked well because it was well balanced. So when we had Akia and Mostert coming off the bench, we had Akia coming on for Earvin, so it was enforcer for enforcer, and then you have Mostert coming for Lord, so it's another Larnart general for another Larnart general. So if Lourdes injured, then and Mostert goes into the starting lineup, we'll probably see someone like Niku Jans van Rensburg coming into that position. And let's say Earvin's injured and Akia is going to start, then we have someone like Ulster taking that position, I reckon. Yeah. No, I definitely think there's a little bit of space to play over there if you want to put an extra loose forward on and you back Peter Steff to finish a game and finish it at lock.
100%. Yeah.
That's also a good call. So I think if something has happened to Peter Steff and he picks up another injury, Reinhard Alstad will be probably the best fit swap for the 7.
Yes, so you it wouldn't be unsurprising to see Alstad not involved in the 23 and then all of a sudden starts in a test match.
Yes. 100%. 100%.
I agree with that. He's definitely that type of that mold of player that would, probably just go straight into a starting berth. You give him 60 or so, and then you bring on that possibly, let's say, a more specialist or specialized player. You can bring him on and just to finish the game out or run it. That's where you can bring, if he's coming on the side, you can bring a Marcel on, like a real a match winner and take you for the next 25, 30 minutes. Okay, lads. So I think we pretty much touched on the box. I mean, that's the easy one, and the British and Irish line is the one which is the probably the toughest one.
How much time do we have? How much time do we have? Jeez.
Oh shit! So we have, this one could be an absolute dog. This part could be a dog show.
Did you guys pick teams that Gantlin would have picked, or that you want to pick, or that's gonna beat the Springboks?
I think
the one that can beat the Springboks.
Yeah, I pretty much did the same, and like also half of what Gatlin would pick.
Yeah, I'll throw it straight out there that I don't think Gatlin's going to pick Finn Russell, and I think he's somebody that's going to unlock us.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's
Finn is my player coach, captain coach.
I was going to say Finn Russell is definitely in Kooks' team because that man will send us a message in our group and just be like, boys, my man's on the field. He's on fire today. So I definitely know Finn Russell's in Kooks' team. That's for sure.
Listen, I've cancelled dates to watch Finn Russell play rugby, and it's like, oh, geez, what time is the date? 4:00. Oh, sorry, listen, Racing Metro's on or Scotland's on. My bad. Could you move it like 7?
And remember, and that means he is Kooks' only token Scotsman. So that means there's no other Scottish players left in Kooks' squad.
But England finished 5th in the Six Nations, so we need a token English player this year, not Scottish. Isn't that how it works?
I love that, yeah.
Well, it should work that way, but we all know that it's probably not going to work that way. Charlie wants to know if Pollard or Yankees not fit, who do we bring in as a 10 before we jump on the Irish Lions?
Probably both, eh?
Who?
What?
Or doesn't Puff play a bit of 10?
At Sale, the South Africans can play any position they want to play.
Yeah,
Robert De Vrij plays
De Vrij
outside
plays
centre
enough,
at
man.
Sale. Let's not use that as a good example.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Listen,
let's.
I won't lie, lads. If Pollard and Yankees is there,
Kooks is going Kerwin. I know Kooks is going Kerwin.
No, I'm actually not. I feel like I would go Mornay Stay. I think for me, Kerwin at the moment is the perfect. I think Kerwin is the perfect. Out of coming off the bench at the moment, I think it's someone as a utility to be able to cover 10 and 15. But I mean, listen, you put that Rolls Royce of a pack in front of Mornay Stay, you'll get us. I think you'll be able to play in the right areas. Like for me, when Pollard's injured, I was like, you give me Mornay Stay for 3 tests in that pack. What he's done with the Bulls, for example, I can't see like anyone better. I think he's look what he's done for the Bulls. I mean, the way they're playing, the rugby that he's playing, just makes the right options. Great pack in front of him. They play in the right areas. He's in kick 85%. That's who I would have. I mean, for a short-term option, that's 3 tests. That's all you need from him. I would have Mornay.
Bakkies, jy lyk of jy in jou broek wil kak.
Oh, Mornay, what the hell? Kooks, I thought you
Have you
were
been
friends.
You've not been watching the Bulls for the last 8 months, and Mornay just like rolling back the years. Like at a stage, I thought.
Even though I don't like Willemse at 10, but Mornay moet nog gaan slaap.
I think Bakkies, there's a stage you're watching Mornay. I thought we were back in 2009. Like I'd recheck the calendar. I was like, are we in 2009 again?
He wasn't even good at 2009. He just kicked very well.
Oh my god! What did Mornay Stay do to you? Like I feel like this is a personal agenda. I feel like
Jared, give us your pick.
Don't think you can argue too much about Mornay, besides the fact that he's probably should have retired. But if we're playing against the Lions, there's nobody else that I would trust to get us over the line. Like if Puff passes the ball to Mornay every single time and Mornay kicks 40 times a game and we beat the Lions 3-0, I'll be happy. Like I would trust Mornay over Kerwin and over Willemse, and it's just purely because they've proven test quality. Maybe if we play the test against Georgia and Scotland that we're playing for last year, we would be saying something completely different. But
100%.
we didn't. I don't think either of them have started a game at 10 for the Springboks, have they?
No.
Yeah.
My thing is this. I want to be honest with you guys. I don't want to freaking see Damien Willemse anywhere close to a fucking 10 jersey ever again. Like, especially not in international rugby. Like, the kid is a 15 and he has for me, he has every element to be South Africa's Kurtley Beale at 15. He could be that 15 that we've actually never had. So leave him at 15, let him go into that position whenever he gets his chance. I agree, short term, it's tough to think of anyone else but Mornay, as much as it hurts me to say that, but I'm going to say that. I don't trust, unfortunately, like, I understand what Kooks is saying with like Bosch. He's a great player to come off the impact. I don't know, in such a high profile series, and that I don't think it's the smartest thing to do to throw him in something like that. If we had a few tests to grow him into that, grow him in with the guys around, different story. We might be saying something different. But yeah, I think the question, I think it's pretty much answered. I think Morne Steyn.
I'll throw 2 more names in there and let's just see the reaction. We have Jan Koersen is another option.
Does that actually still play rugby?
Yeah.
He's back in the weekend with Montpellier.
And the other one is the other one I can throw in there is Francois Steyn. He was a backup 10 during the World Cup.
I'm not mad.
Who was the first name you said?
Jan Koersen.
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 Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Are you a fan of his retirement plan, or are you a fan of him playing rugby? Because he doesn't do a lot of rugby playing at times.
But is it confirmed that he signed for the Bulls now?
Yeah, he's coming. Yeah.
Solid 13 for the Bulls.
But we want to pick him at 10 for the box.
I guess I mean, it's tough, eh? Like, of course, there is a name you can throw in there. Overall, Franz Steyn. But listen, do you know what I really rate? That youngster that came on for the Stormers on Saturday. Ebno, his name is Van Rijn. He played. Yeah, he's good there. I think it's the future. He'll cameo here against the Sharks, and then we play in a couple of those preparation games. I like him. I like him a lot.
Listen, as long as we don't I don't want to see like a fucking Van Rijn. I don't want to see a fucking. All I just pray for, and I don't think we'll ever see it again. I don't want to see like a Jaco van der Westhuizen type player come taking the 10 jersey, or or no disrespect to Pretorius, but I also wasn't the biggest fan of him either in that slot. So I think our flowers are definitely, maybe the level has upped a little bit from that. There was one more question. Oh, James wanted to know, and then we have to get to the Lions quick. We have to get rolling onto that. If there's one amateurish, or if there's one like unknown rookie that could break it onto the international stage, which one would it be?
I think it's someone like Jasper Visa. I think it's one of the overseas oaks that will come in. I think the backs. I think the backs look pretty settled in terms of the options they have. But yeah, I think if there's a rookie, I think it'll come in the forwards. Even we're talking about Lucy's. Kooks. Sorry. Even when we're talking about rookies, even that Aldrich Lowe from the Bulls, who I think is phenomenal. I think he reminds me of a young John Smith. So someone like that would be as the sort of rookies I see potentially coming through. Oh my goodness! If I can get my phone to stand, okay. Yeah, I think he's the sort of rookies that coming through. I think it'll come in the forwards, not the backs. But I'm still praying for the return of Dylan Lates. It's coming. He has. What I'll give to having him back in the squad.
He's playing some fantastic rugby. To be fair
so
to the man.
So good.
Bakkies.
At 10 as well. Lates at 10.
Do you have an interesting name to throw in?
Yeah, I have to agree with Kooks. If it's going to be a forward, it's going to be Jasper and Fussy. If it's going to be a backline guy, I don't see anyone else. Maybe Nhamba scrumming from the Sharks. He might get a look in. He was on some good form. So, yeah, other than that, I can't see any big surprises, really.
Not a Ivan van Zyl.
Nee. Liever se oupa terug, hè.
Even Van Zyl was playing really, really good rugby though before going to Europe. He was playing really good rugby.
Jared, you want to end it off with someone?
Yeah. I'll throw in another forward's name, Joseph Dweba, which I think is just
I think it's just
going to happen.
I love that one.
He must actually just come to the Stormers now, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, the Sharks. We need a hooker.
Is leaving, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can replace Bongi with ease.
The other one that I want to throw in there is Tyron Green.
Yes.
or
Oh,
wing spots or fullback spots.
yeah,
So,
that's
yeah,
a good
those
shout.
are the two that I'll throw in there.
He's not too terrible on the wing either, Tyron
Yeah.
Green.
That's a
Quite a
good
he's
shout.
played mostly on the wing for Harlequins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Well, before England grabs him, so I think we need to actually grab him quickly.
Yeah,
Before.
just cap him.
No, I don't think they're looking at capping him. I think he wants to play for the Springboks. I think it's one of those.
It's a good shout.
Right.
Tyron Green is playing really well.
Let's go with this. Bakkies, you're starting us off. Your British and Irish Lions team to beat the Springboks.
Guys,
Oh, the
get
man's
the-
made a list. Now he's fucking serious.
Ja, nee, okay, all the jet and alles. Okay, so get the coat hangers out. It's happening.
Should we break it down by position? So we start with the front rowers, or
Yeah. We're starting
Yeah.
with the front.
We
So
can-
everyone we'll do the front rows first. And if it's a controversial selection, we'll quickly touch on it. Don't go too much down the rabbit hole. So Bakkies, you give us your three. Kooks, your three. Jared, your three. If there's really a humdinger of a pick or something very controversial, we'll touch on it. So Bakkies, you shoot.
So I feel the front row is going to be quite consistent. It's going to be Wyn Jones, Ken Owens, and Tag Furlong for me. Wyn Jones was great against the Springbok scrum against France Malherbe in the semi-final. Didn't give away too many penalties. So, it's a solid guy. His form in the Six Nations was good. Ken Owens, why not? He's on form hooker on the Mud Islands at the moment. And then Furlong, who's a better three at the moment. I don't think there's a better three in the world at the moment. So,
Kooks.
pretty happy with those choices.
Mine is pretty similar. I've got Wyn Jones. I've got Luke Cowan-Dickie at hooker, and then I've got Tard Furlong at 3. I think with Cowan-Dickie, I think they'll obviously need a little nuggety players, someone to get stuck in there, especially to try and match Bongi, especially on the ground. I think Cowan-Dickie gives them a little bit of grunt, and I think it's someone that the Lions can almost use as an extra weapon, and especially on the ground. And then I think Wyn Jones and Tard Furlong are the strongest scrummers. And then obviously on the bench I've got Marco Vunapolo and Carl Sinclair to try and obviously speed things up in the second half. A bit of skill, a bit of extra
First of all,
carries.
Kooks,
Right?
you have way too many Englishmen in the squad already. So you clearly haven't taken your one Englishman quota because they did finish 5th in the Six Nations.
I know.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised no one's gone for Genji for a little,
No.
a little bit of fucking shithousery, because we
These are
the
my-
British love a little bit
Yeah.
of shithousery now and then.
Yeah.
So I got Luke Cowan-Dickie on the bench actually. So,
Oh, there we go. Jared, shoot.
Yeah, I think he's going to try. He's going to keep his props as the same as 2017. So I think he's going to start Mako and Furlong.
Okay.
I'd also go with that. And I think the Sheriff is going to start at hooker in Owens. And I've got Luke Cowan-Dickie on the bench with Joe Marler and Carl Sinclair.
Oh, Marler's an
Marler's
interesting one. Joe Marler's an interesting one. I didn't expect to see his name in the 23.
Oh, sorry.
He's definitely going to be like spirit captain or something on the tour.
Spirit captain. Is he the fines master?
No, nothing.
Yeah, you probably will be in the mix with that.
Between him and Ken.
I think they'll take Joe Marler. If he's available, I think he will go. Besides being an entertaining guy, he's still one of the best lifters in Europe.
Okay, Bakkies, let's get to your locks and give me your bench as well.
Bench as well. Okay. I've got James Ryan and Mara as my locks. And then
Sorry,
I've got Ian Henderson on the bench.
kid falling apart.
Sorry, who's on the bench, Bucks?
Ian Henderson.
Okay.
Ooh.
We move into locks. Kooks, give me your 2 locks and your bench. As many have you got on the bench? If it's 1 or 2.
So I've got Itoje at 4 and James Ryan at 5. and then with Alan Wynne Jones on the bench, I think a little bit of experience. That will I think he will come in off the bench and hopefully see things off. Obviously, he's the captain, so yeah, definitely those are my locks. Just the one lock on the bench.
Jared?
Yeah, I've got Morrow and Alan Wynne as my starting locks.
I also thought that would be it.
Yeah, I think Alan Wynne's going to captain them, and he's
Yeah.
well.
Agreed,
It's
James,
pretty
very
much
well.
he's the captain already.
Yeah.
And I've got James Ryan on the bench.
Okay.
I just thought, yeah, he's a good fit because he plays like I spoke about the Lewitt and Irvin roles. He can do both
Yeah.
on the line. So
And
I've got him on the bench to replace either of them. Yeah.
And you got one on the bench as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Let's move to the Lucy's, lads. This should be interesting. It might actually be pretty straightforward, but it could be an interesting one. Bakkies?
I just want to find out, is Courtney Laws injured? Is he doubtful for the squad or is he in?
I read a thing. I've read a thing now that he's not going to play this weekend, but he should be fit for the Lions.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got Hamish Watson, Courtney Laws, and CJ Stander as my Lucy's. Nice balance.
Okay.
You're going to be
on
loved
your bench?
Bakkies going to be loved
The
in Scotland.
bench, I've got Tag Barron.
Okay. Interesting. That's an interesting one. Cooks.
I went with Courtney Laws because he's the closest thing the islands have for a Peter Steph toy. Bietjie hard, bietjie night tie, you know. And Watson,
I can listen. I can see if he's fit, he goes. I think he's in the squad if he's fit. I reckon.
Yeah.
Cooks.
No, I agree. I've got Ty Bird as my blindside flank, a bit of grunt, a bit of try and match in the box, extra line out option, and a bit of try to match a box up front. That's that Peter Steph sort of role. And then I've got what's his name, Tom Curry as my open side. And then at 8 I've got Toby Faletau. I think he's obviously played himself into some form, and Gets loves Faletau. And then obviously I'll rate him as well. Then on my bench I've got Josh Naividi. I think he also that option of covering. He can cover all three positions, especially open side and another Lucy option. I think at the end, if you want to toss off Ty Bird and you want to go with Tom Curry and Josh Naividi in the flanks, and then obviously or go with Naividi at 8. So yeah, those are my Lucy's. One Lucy as well.
Jared.
Yeah, now I'm disappointed because I forgot about Josh Naividi somehow.
How do you forget those dreadlocks?
No, but Gats went and said that they had like a 2-hour conversation just on the back rows, and you can see exactly why.
Yeah,
because I've
100%. Oh, jeez.
I've gone Tom Curry, Justin Tipuric, and Tanuki Faletau. Yeah, and those are the 3 I've gone for. And then I couldn't decide between Courtney Laws and Hamish Watson on the bench. So there would be my call. I think I'd go for Hamish Watson on the bench.
That's your token. That's your token Scotsman then.
I've got 2 token Scotsmen.
Okay, let's go to 9 and 10. And let me know if you have you will have a 9 on the bench, but let me know if you have a specialized 10 on the bench. So, Bucks.
Another question. Conor Murray, is he in or out?
We don't know. You picking the team, not us.
Yeah, he's fit.
He's been playing rugby.
So I went with the experience combo. I went with Murray and Sex Pistol. My
Sex Pistol.
Johnny is also my captain for the first test.
Oh. Just dropping that Englishman. Hey? Just throwing that Englishman aside.
Yeah. I don't want him. He's not going to beat the Box. Did you see how nervous he was in the World Cup final?
Give us a shout.
And then on the bench, Cooks on the bench, I've got Gareth Davis or Ali Price. I'm not I'm still.
You ca- there
It's
comes
better.
my
You're
yeah.
gonna put Finn Russell on the bench then.
Ek het vir Owen
Do it,
Farrell op die
Bakkies.
bench.
I could put Owen Farrell on the bench. Bucky's, you really going controversial? Yeah, Owen Farrell not to make a starting.
Fuck all.
Kooks, go.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go slightly different. Yeah, I think at 9 I'm gonna go Ellie Price. I think he's gonna provide that little spark for the Lions. I think for the Lions to beat the Box as much as the Lions can front up, I think they can. But I do think in the backs, I think they need to try and obviously try and like throw the ball around a little bit and James, I think the Bucks will need. I think the Lions will try and throw the ball around, but it'll try to be a little more expensive. So my 10, as much as I wanted to be Finn Russell, but I know Gats won't pick him. I've got George Ford at 10, and then on the bench I've got Gareth Davies and Dan Bigger. I think Dan Bigger off the bench too. Like the same role he played with Anscombe was at 15 going to the World Cup where Dan Bigger comes off the bench and just sees the game off, kicks in the right area. So I think Dan Bigger is the option number 2 off the bench, and I'll have George Ford in at 10.
Okay. No one's picked no arms yet, so let's see what Jared has to say. Soldier Boy is still to be picked.
So I have it as Conor Murray and Owen Farrell as what Gats is going to pick. I personally would go for Conor Murray and Dan Bigger. That's who I would go for in my starting lineup. Bigger is just playing on another level at the moment.
Yeah, he's playing unreal. He's playing unreal rugby at the moment.
James agrees. Dan Bigger's in the shape of his life.
Yeah, and the rest of the scrummers are pretty rubbish. So yeah, I think Conor Murray is like the standout. And I mean, they're looking at Danny Kerr and they're looking at John Cooney and all of these guys that aren't playing Test rugby as scrummer. So yeah, I've gone with Conor Murray and I've put Gareth Davis on the bench.
Do you think Gats will give his, do you think Gats will give the New Zealander maybe a little cap at 9?
He might just. He's apparently got the best pass in the Six Nations, is what his big selling point is. So
okay.
he's like got an Aaron Smith pass, is what they're thinking about.
I don't know. I just see that's a Gats type of move in a way, and especially like the type of scrummies that he seems to enjoy. What's it? Garden Bishop like just fits that mold, So yeah, it's got wonderful service there, Bakkies. So you've got. I think that could be the real. The real outside pick if you see someone like him make it onto a bench or even starting a Lions team.
Well, he's a massive fan of Reece Webb, so don't be surprised if Reece Webb goes on the tour as well.
True. Very true.
That's true.
Very true. And your men on the bench, sorry, Jared, I didn't get that.
Yeah, Davis, and I've gone for Sexton on the bench.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Sexton will make the bench regardless of who the starting 10 is. So if they start with Farrell or they start with Bigger, Sexton will be on the bench.
So Davies looks like.
Sorry, Bucket. Bigger to finish the game or Sexton to finish the game? Who's got more energy?
If I'm a Lions coach, I want Sexton to finish the game because he only lasts like 5 minutes.
That's true.
I think the Lions, wasn't it 33? 36.
Oh, 36.
Yeah. Okay, guys, let's get to the centers. I think this one is pretty. I mean, I think you two have probably got Shoulder Boy in the centers, and you got Bucky's has gone totally controversial and put him on the bench. So let's start. Okay, Bucky's, give us your pick. This is going to be
Henshaw and Davies. It has to be.
That's a good shout. I think Henshaw is also playing
Not a
really good
bad one.
rugby at the moment.
And who's your? Do you
know,
have a?
he's got the defensive line walked out. He can call defensive lines lekker. You got the night tie, Robbie. So I think that's the one to go with.
Do you have one on the bench at all, or you rather got utility on the bench?
Farrell Ben.
Okay.
I think at 12 for me, it's Owen Farrell. I think Farrell is. I understand all the controversies. I think if you pick, he's one of the few guys whose name is in pens. I mean, like he was always in my side. I think I've always thought that 12 is one of his. I really enjoy him at 12, especially.
He's not even his
Humans.
country's best 12, let alone best 10. So they have to make a position for him.
No. Listen, I think I'm a lone camp on the Owen Farrell fan club. I think I've set up camp on my own here. So president, CEO of the fan club. I bring my own snacks to this club, own meetings to the own minutes. But I'll have him at 12, and then I've got Gary Ringrose at 13. I think he's been playing really good rugby. And then I think actually Ringrose or Davies. Because Davies struggled a little bit in the Six Nations, but I'm gonna go with Gary Ringrose.
Jared?
Yeah, I'm going to remind you guys of the one player that's definitely going to start, Manu
Tuilagi.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was waiting for
He's
him as
back
well. I was
now.
like, I can't believe no one's picked him.
Yeah,
Well,
so
I thought he was injured, like 8 for the yard.
no, he's back like next weekend or something. So the minute he can run on 2 feet, he starts. So
yeah, I agree with
yeah.
you. And if Manu's fit, he's my 13. Then I feel happy
if he
with
can only
Forden.
if he can only jog, then he will make the team. Like he's easily one of the best centers in Europe. So I've got him at 13, and I've got Henshaw at 12.
That's heat.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Gats plays Davis with Tuilagi as well and drops Henshaw. But Tuilagi's Daly's in that Tuilagi's in that midfield for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. No, I agree with you. Like you said, if he's walking, if he, I don't think he will even train. You're just like you're just gonna play Saturdays. Like you don't even have to train. You're just like
I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought
just come for the test tour.
I'll be honest with you. I thought Manu would be your guys are starting all days a week.
I forgot because I didn't know when he'll be back. That was my biggest concern with Manu.
It's
Probably
like this weekend or next weekend, one of the two.
So probably the toughest, I would say, the toughest picks would probably be the two wings of this tour. I mean, there's actually quite a lot of sort of options in a way, and guys that have actually scored tries in the Six Nations. Like the wingers have been scoring tries, so I'm quite interested to see where we're going. So with us, Bakkies, you fire away.
Is jy reg, Keegan?
Ek's reg.
Oh, Bakkies is gonna go.
There's gonna be a mare pick here. There's gonna be an absolute mare pick.
So it's Liam Williams and Anthony Watson.
Nice.
Nice. That's it. Yeah,
that's not terrible.
Yeah.
So my thinking behind this is I'm picking 3 fullbacks for my back 3 with the Springboks kicking game to handle the high balls. So if somebody's out of position, somebody can slot in. So that's why.
So you got Hog at fullback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the same back 3.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
And
I've
Kooks?
got my only change is I'm throwing in the young bolter here, Lewis Rees-Emmett at 11, and Watson and Hogg, and then William Williams my 23.
I actually thought there might be a few Rees-Emmets. Maybe
I don't know. I got Rees-Emmett as my.
But I do get the Williams pick though.
Yeah,
it's not a bad shot. But what Bakkies is saying with the 3 fullbacks, it's actually a great counter that and a great way to cover yourself.
I think Lewis Rees-Emmett is going on tour. Like he's definitely in the extended squad, and I think he'll probably play the SAA game, and if he has a good game, then he will start a test match. So I think there's a few positions that will be decided on tour, and I think Lewis Rees-Emmett starting or those three fullbacks starting is one of them.
Mhm. I think he's going to be my. I think he's going to be my breakout player of the tour.
Yeah,
Are you guys
fair
seeing
enough.
Duan van der Merwe making the squad or a test team?
I think he makes the squad.
I don't
I
think so.
think I think he goes. I think he goes on tour. But
I think
like
it's
Jared
between him
said, I
and
think
David
it's.
who makes the squad, to be honest.
I think they both go on tour, but I think with I think it's either one of them. They look at someone like a little bit of X factor, something different that you can throw in, like that you can throw in a test match, like you said. I think the safe option, like you said, is because for me it's like either they both go on tour, and like cause for me like someone like Daly goes on tour as well, like Elliot Daly because of his
Oh, he definitely goes on
utility
tour,
option.
I
Yeah.
reckon.
So
He,
it's a question of I think
May?
one of those three. I think one of those three misses out, but I think Duan goes on tour.
what about
So-
May?
Ooh.
So I don't
That's
think
tough.
I don't
think the
Duan
only way
goes.
Duan goes on tour is if Tuilagi doesn't. I think that's where a sticking point is. So
Yeah.
I think they'll choose Duan if Tuilagi is injured, because then they want another big ball runner in the backline or in the midfield, because
Yeah.
they now lost George North as well.
Yeah, I
But
was gonna
North
say
would
there's
have
George
Yeah.
North going.
13
Yeah,
and wing.
you look good.
So-
Yeah,
If they don't have Tuilagi, then I can see him going. Gats loves these big ball carriers. Like he'll
yeah,
pick Aki just because he's massive.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
That
He's
is
my
true.
outside-
Yeah, that is true.
He's actually my outside center who could sneak into the squad just because of his size and his ball carrying skills.
Who?
So yeah, I've also
Aki.
got Elliot
Aki.
Daly and my team. He completes my team because he
Mm.
covers fullback, wing, and outside center.
Center, yeah, and the big
Yeah.
boot as well in the high felt.
Yeah,
Here's
he could probably
somebody
get as far as fast playing on the half. So
Listen, don't
what
be.
about
I
Keith
wouldn't
Earls?
be
Does he
shocked.
make the
Sorry, Buckies?
Keith Earls, does he make the squad? He was
No.
sensational.
I don't
for
think he
a
makes the
time.
squad.
No, I don't think he'll make it.
Bit of experience,
Mm.
center, wing, and fullback.
yeah, they don't have many center wings in their
Yeah.
squad, so he might get in on that. But I think there's quite a few players that play center, fullback, fly half that
Yeah,
could go in ahead of him. So
I've got a
someone like
que-
Henry Slay can play anywhere 10 to 15. If you needed him to,
I
you'll
don't
cover
think Gatton can pick him because his defensive record is a bit shocking.
Slade.
Yeah.
No, Slade's quite a good defensive player. Eh? He's like that is like he'll have
Yeah.
like 5 missed tackles, but he shoots up the whole time and
yeah.
stops
Yes,
it.
Do you think Finn Russell? Do you think Russell makes the tour at all?
Is that aimed at me?
No, it's
Yeah, I
aimed
don't
at
know.
everyone because a
don't think- I don't-
talented. To be honest with you, okay, so let's just set the scene for a talented player like that not to be able to make this squad, and then we're throwing around a few names where you're like, not probably as talented, and the man can cover a few positions as well himself. Does he make the squad, or is it because he's too versatile that
I think,
forces him? He doesn't make the squad.
I don't think he makes the squad. I think Gats is he likes that safety option of, and also with like you said with Bigger playing well, Farrell obviously goes on tour, and then if Sexton is fit, Sexton goes. I mean that's your 3 flaws. So, and also if push comes to shove, Hogg has covered Flav before in the Lions tour, so Hogg can cover that position. So I don't see Finn Russell going on tour unless there's an injury. I just don't see Gats picking someone like someone like Finn Russell in his side. So that's I can't see him going on tour.
Can I tell you where I think Finn loses it? And I don't think it's his like maverick play and wanting to attack the whole time. I think he loses out on a Lions tour because he can't kick for goal. Like
Yeah,
he averages like 80%, under 80%, and who else kicks outside of the starting lineup? You want Stuart Hogg kicking for goal your entire game? Do you want to choose a fly half that you have to start Owen Farrell at inside centre? Like if Gats decides he doesn't want to play Farrell, or you pick Russell and you back in Russell and Farrell to play the tour, but Farrell gets injured in the first game. Like he'll think of situations like that.
100%.
Farrell,
Like,
Bigger and Sexton all kick over 90% all the time.
Yeah. It's a pity because I think that's the type of player you probably want to see in a Lions jersey as a Finn Russell, that just bring a little bit extra to it. But yeah, I do agree with you guys. I think that his lack of kicking it to goal, and you have better goal kickers available to you. So when it comes to a Lions tour, you need points, and who's going to take the points? Those 3 kickers ahead of him. So yeah, I do. And then if you really, really need a backup, you've got Hogg there as your 4th choice. Kick at goals if the first 3 somehow all pick up injuries. So, I do agree. But it's an interesting one because I would love to see someone like a Finn Russell on tour. Even if it's just for a few midweek games, it'd be great. Him just trying those
100%.
ridiculous passes, all those ridiculous little grubbers through, and that I think that could be fun to watch.
But I mean, you talk about goal kickers. I wouldn't be surprised to see Gats even playing daily on the wing at 11, and then slotting Liam Williams at the back at fullback, and having Hogg as like guy off the bench, because like you said, it's an extra size option. Someone like Liam Williams is a little bit taller, so for those bombs, so he's got so many options to play with, and obviously, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see Elliot Daly starting in the high felt, especially. I mean, listen, he's lining them up from 60 meters, so it's like it's that extra weapon where something like Gats will think about it. Like you might see him playing the first test, and the next two in the high felt, here comes Elliot Daly starting.
Throw out a name here just because it's high felt and a good kicker. Halfpenny instead of Daly. If you're just going
that's another one. Yeah.
Also, just a reminder that Hogg
that's also true.
Does kick the
he
long
does
range.
the long ones. Yeah, that's true as well.
But Halfpenny would go on the tour just as a kicker. Like he's and it sounds terrible to say for him because he's actually a very good player. It's just the quality of the fullbacks that Gats can pick from.
It's so high.
And
it's so high.
In another era, Halfpenny would be going on his 3rd tour now, and I think this one he's going to actually miss. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No.
Right, lads, let's start wrapping this up. Let's go for the good old tour decider. Let's say, how does this finish up in this 3-match test series? We will go Bakkies, and then we'll go Kooks, and then Jared to wrap it off. And then what we can do is, I think, would be quite nice is when the tour squad gets announced, which is on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, Jared?
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah.
We could maybe do we could do like a short catch-up, a shorter version of a catch-up, and just talk about what he's actually going for, because we'll have the squad, and we can sort of see maybe what sort of the plan is at this point in time, so we can touch on it again. So let's go ahead. Bakkies, how do you think it finishes up?
It's going to be similar to the previous one in 09. We're going to win 2-1, but on aggregate score, they're going to beat us.
Who gives a shit about aggregate score?
Well,
we're not playing for and against in football, like on a log.
That's the consolation the Lions will leave with. Like, we may have lost the series, but at least we got more points.
You always put that bit in.
It's like adding the midweek games to the tour and being, hey, we won the tour like 5-2. Yeah, like adding the fucking midweek games. Kooks?
I think the Bucks win 3-0. I think we clean sweep them. I think I'm really confident. I think back the Bucks. That's my heart saying, but my head says that the Lions win the first test and the Bucks win the last 2. We win 2-1. That's my head. That's what my head says. My heart says we win 3-0. That's
just don't put money on that on your heart.
Yeah, my heart also says Finn Russell to be Lions captain, but yeah, so my heart leads me astray.
Jared, wrap it up for us.
here I'm going to be boring and I'm going to say we're going to win it 2-1. And I'll throw a little bit of spice in and say the Lions will lose 2 midweek games, one to a Super Rugby team and one to the SA.
Oh, I love that.
I love it.
I love that. I just want to clip that and send that, or let Jared send that around on his Twitter, because he's got all these like probably Englishmen like trolling him and that. Just throw that little bit out there. Just let it go viral.
No, don't say that because now they know his face now. That's the problem.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. Everyone that's tuned in, thank you so much as well. It was a good one. I think we definitely need to do another rugby chat sometime soon, and I think another one. I think the next one could be maybe a reaction to the Lions squad that gets selected.
I told you so.
What's that? You?
I told you so. Episode.
I told you so. Yeah. Bakkies can see how many wild calls he's made and how many of them get correct.
Everybody's gonna get picked. I don't know where this lack of faith in me comes from.
Listen, I've seen some of your Springbok picks before, for Springbok jerseys, and let me tell you, there's been some questionable picks, and Jared can confirm because he's in that group as well.
Guys,
we're not going to say anything. But we're not going to say anything. But I think Bakkies once picked Cheslin Colby at 9.
Oh,
yeah, I know. I was for the idea when it came out. I didn't pick him at 9.
I never knew. I never
what
knew
Mallet was talking about.
Yeah, I never knew doing a podcast with Nick Mallet. That's what you should let us know. That. By the way, have they said by any chance when the Bob squad gets named, or did I miss anything?
That was going to be my next question. Does
No,
anyone know?
Nothing
that
yet.
will be much closer to the top.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Right, lads. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
have a good
thanks.
evening further. Have a good week. And we will hopefully do a follow-up to this once the squad's done. And yeah, thanks a lot for joining.
Cheers, gents.
Cheers,
Cheers, guys.
Have a
Thanks,
lucky
cheers.
one. Cheers.
Cheers.